What's up, guys? Rob here. You are, of course, on Rule of Two Review, where today I'm going to discuss whether or not the Wii U could actually help Bayonetta 2. So I think it's kind of funny that this whole idea kind of works against the theory that a lot of people seem to have when talking about Bayonetta 2 being a third-party game and an exclusive to a Wii U, especially as a third-party mature title on a Nintendo system, which, typically is something that a lot of people don't normally associate with each other. But of course, that's been one of the reasons that Bayonetta 2 has been garnering such high influence within the press and like so much buzz about it and a lot of people talking about it, supporting it. Of course, the Operation Platinum movement, which I myself, of course, have supported on Twitter a couple of times, and hopefully you guys out there have been doing the same. And I just think that it's interesting that that very idea of Bayonetta having such a strong presence because of it being a mature exclusive on a Nintendo console kind of seems to actually be counterproductive to what a lot of people say, at least as far as them worrying on whether or not the game is actually going to perform well, because I happen to think it's going to help the game perform even better. So I guess what I'm hoping is that that very concept is sort of what makes sense, and it's also what inspired me to want to make this super quick video about the topic. Bayonetta 2, of course, is one of the bigger titles coming out for the holiday season amongst any platform, and most definitely one of the biggest titles coming out on the Wii U. I think the game's going to be great. The first Bayonetta was wonderful. Bayonetta 2 looks so much better than even that game. Of course, most of us know that Bayonetta 1 is actually packaged for free with Bayonetta 2, as well as, redone. I think it's touched up for 1080p and 60 frames per second, which I don't believe it previously was, as well as all the Nintendo content, the Nintendo-specific content that they've added to the game. It's a ridiculous value with this game, considering you get both titles and all this extra Nintendo content. So the game's going to be amazing. I can't wait. I've already got mine pre-ordered. A lot of people do. But again, so I guess a lot of the controversy has been, especially when the game was first announced, is like, wow, okay, that's a very mature, very violent, very sexy game, and it seems to not typically go, fall in line with what a lot of content you're going to get on a Nintendo platform is, at least as far as exclusive content. And so a lot of people were shocked. Of course, some people are disappointed because a lot of fans of the first game might not be Nintendo fans since it wasn't on a Nintendo platform. So they're like, well, now I might not get to play it because I played it on the 360 and I don't have a Wii U, so I won't get to play it and yada yada. And of course, Nintendo fans and Wii U fans have been very excited to be able to play this game and very proud that it's coming as an exclusive title. Again, myself included, but I also own the original on the 360. I played that as well. It's a great game. So again, the controversy is it's a mature, violent, sexy game on a Wii U console exclusive. It's not going to sell. The first game actually didn't sell wonderfully well when it was released on both the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. At the time that game was released in 2010, I think there was probably between 30 and 40 million PS3s and 360. Like, they each had about that amount probably sold at that time. So that's a lot more than the just over 7 million that the Wii U has so early in its life right now. So you got to think that was like, what, probably 40 to 60 total consoles between the PS3 and 360 in 2010, and it really didn't sell all that well. It did review very well. Of course, it's a very well-received game. Got a lot of high praise, wonderful reviews. People who played it for the most part loved it. So it's a very liked game, understandably, and deservedly so. But of course, 40 to 60 million of those systems versus, 7.1 million Wii U's at this point. Not to mention it's a mature game, so it just seems a lot of people think, well, that game is just destined to not sell well. And I understand that completely. For a while, I certainly was worried that maybe the game wasn't going to have that much success on the Wii U, and we might never see Bayonetta 3, release exclusively on the Wii U, even though Platinum Games has talked about wanting to do that, and especially with Nintendo, because they've enjoyed working with Nintendo, which is great news. But, I certainly share those same fears. Like I said, like maybe I know the game's going to be great, and I can't wait to play it, but it might not perform well enough to warrant any more games ever coming out ever, or at least exclusively on the Wii U. But honestly, the more I've thought about it, and the more I've paid attention to the news, the buzz, the Bayonetta 2 Nintendo Direct from recent IGN just released a really fantastic video on behind the scenes and showing how just awesome that game is going to be, and it's gorgeous, beautiful visuals. It's going to be some of the best control. I think that, with that, and of course the Operation Platinum movement and so many other things going on, I really think that, honestly, we might be looking at a situation, I hope to be right, but we could be looking at a situation where the game actually performs better than it would have if it was released on all platforms, or even just exclusively the PS4 and Xbox One, for example, and maybe would have, again, eluded the Nintendo platform for this generation. I feel like it has a better chance of performing surprisingly well now that it's exclusive to the controversial system that it is exclusive to. So I'm willing to bet that that makes a pretty decent amount of sense. But let me explain a little bit further before I wrap the video up. Again, we already know that the first game was released on the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, and as much as people loved it, again, it really didn't sell smashingly well. I don't even know. Maybe I think just I should have looked up the numbers beforehand, and of course I didn't. Probably around 1 million units, give or take, combined between the two, I think. Worldwide, I heard a number recently, and I think it was around then. But don't quote me. Again, I'm an idiot, and I didn't think to look it up beforehand, and I'm too lazy to do it now. But it's still very well known, regardless of the actual numbers, that it didn't sell amazingly well, especially for how well it reviewed. So the fact that on those systems where there's a plethora of games that look and feel that way and are of that same mature kind of ilk, it didn't sell that well. The fact that it's been exclusive to Nintendo, I just feel like more people know about it. And the fact that Nintendo fans, we have a different level of loyalty, I think, and admiration for our console. And again, I say our, and yes, I very am well known as a huge Nintendo fan. And I know I repeat this on a lot of my videos, but just for anyone who is new to Rule of Two Review as of this video, it should be noted that even though I am a #1 Nintendo fan, I still love and support Sony, Microsoft, and PC gaming. So I do. But still, being a Nintendo fan first and foremost, I consider it my console, our console. I consider myself alongside other Nintendo gamers. So again, we as Nintendo gamers do have a very, very specific kind of loyalty and admiration for our system and for Nintendo. So the fact that we get this game as an exclusive is why people, I think, are paying more attention to it. I do think that let's say this game was coming out either for all three or just specifically PS4 and Xbox One. I feel like although people would be saying, yes, this game's going to be great because of how good the first one was, I don't think that it would be getting a special treatment or special attention within the press. It would just be another really good looking, medium profile game coming out for those platforms, all things considered as far as the rest of their libraries go. There's a lot of games that look and feel similar to what Bayonetta is, at least as far as the tone on those systems, on those platforms. People are used to it there. So I'm sure that it would still be hopefully as good of a game as it is now. Granted, Platinum has said that Nintendo has been a great inspiration to the game, so it's very possible that the game is going to turn out to actually be better because they've been working with Nintendo on it. But that aside, I still think that even if it wasn't with Nintendo, the game would probably still be looking great and probably still turn out to be good just because the first one was good in and of itself. And so I don't think that the quality of the game would be, that different, between the Nintendo and the other systems. But again, because so many other games would be mirroring what that game does, I just feel like it would be another game, that's kind of adding to the list, and just it wouldn't have so much, like I said, special attention. And the fact that it's coming out exclusively to the Wii U, it's controversial that a mature game like this is coming out exclusive to the Wii U, and because very proudly I can say Nintendo fans have that unique kind of dedication to Nintendo's platforms, I feel like this special attention that the game is getting, like a Nintendo Direct, is going to help the game actually sell better than it would have if it was released on the other systems. I really honestly feel that. Again, remember, Sony and Microsoft, they don't do anything like what Nintendo does for its exclusive games. Sorry. Just the idea of your own Nintendo Direct, your own half an hour dedicated live streaming right to the video game fan base, the fans and supporters of whatever title you're doing it, and fans of Nintendo and their systems. We go out of our way to plan ahead and be able to watch and soak in this information from whatever new game a Nintendo Direct is going to give us. And Sony and Microsoft, I do love them for what they do individually and respectively, but they just don't do anything that awesome. They don't do anything that much that is directed right towards us, the gamer, and fans of the respective platforms. They don't reach out to us and try to say, hey, look at this. They don't give the developers of these individual games this special block of time to say, hey, deliver your message about your game right to your gamers. Like, do that. And they don't provide that platform, but Nintendo does. So I feel like Platinum is probably feeling like they're sitting in a really good place right now with this game because they got to have a Nintendo Direct. They got to show all this great stuff at E3. They have all these fans that are so dedicated to this console, and 7 million strong is still a pretty good number. That's more than 2 million more than what the Xbox One has available right now. So, that's not to be scoffed at. That is a good amount of gamers. I feel like this game, especially with Operation Platinum, I feel like it very well could hit the million mark. I'm really hoping that that does happen, especially if the game reviews as well as we think. A lot of people are calling it the sleeper hit for Game of the Year, and when you consider that the first game almost won Game of the Year in 2010, and we're so early into this next generation, I feel like with all the games coming out this year, it has a really, really good chance. I mean, Destiny is looking like it really could end up being that way. I've been playing Destiny. It's wonderful. I'm going to make a video on it soon when I can capture some footage and talk about it. Destiny has a really good chance. Smash Brothers has a really good chance. Mario Kart has a really good chance, but I'm telling you, man, I do not discount Bayonetta 2. It really could be that good, you know? And even if it's not, even if it's just pretty good and it's not this amazing revolution, that's okay. We still know it's going to be great. Everyone's excited. And again, the point of the video and the message I'm trying to say today, and I'm going to wrap up here, is to just think about it. I could be wrong. Maybe it performs not as well as the other versions did. Maybe it performs just as well as those versions did. Maybe it sells more just on the Wii U than the first game did on both platforms, PS3 and 360. And if that does happen, I want you to consider how many more PS3s and 360s there were in 2010 than there are Wii U's today. And I think that there is a very, very good chance, not a guarantee, but a very good chance it could end up selling more. And I think that that is going to be aided by the fact it is on this one platform, and it's so controversial that it's coming out that people are more and more aware of it. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much my idea. I just think for anyone who's not quite sure, or for any naysayers, I just say watch the hell out, because Bayonetta 2 is going to be sneaking up on us really soon. So that's it. That's my little conversation and theory about Bayonetta 2 and how much success it might see, specifically because of Nintendo and the Wii U. So the game comes out October 24th, just a month and a half away, and goddamn, I cannot wait. So, of course, if you like what I'm doing and you stumbled upon this video, please feel free to subscribe to Rule 2 Review, like and share the video if you did, and share your thoughts about Bayonetta 2 and the Wii U below. And thanks for tuning in. I will, of course, catch you guys on the next video.